Okay, so let's say that you really mean to do your laundry today, or let's see, maybe yesterday. You really intended to do a little wash, just enough for one machine load. Could be at home, could be at the public laundromat, wherever. But things came up totally, completely unexpected that it seemed to be that doing the laundry at that moment in time when you discovered there are other high priority things going on. And that's life. And sometimes, oftentimes, that happens to any one of us, right? All right. Then the next day comes by. It could be today, and you may get that phone call from a friend that you haven't heard from in a long time. They're suddenly in the neighborhood, and you don't really get to see them often. Hey, let's get together and have some lunch. And it's like, wow, golden opportunity. When's the next time I'm going to be able to, visit with my friend for lunch? And then all of a sudden you say, you know what? I could still squeeze in that laundry, not this morning, because I want to prepare myself to meet my friend that I haven't seen in a long time. Maybe find a special outfit or wear my hair a certain way, whatever it is. Okay. Then suddenly, once again, that laundry becomes like, not so much of a priority. And you even pencil in your book, today I really am going to do my laundry when I get back from the special lunch. Okay. Then you come back from that wonderful lunch, and all of a sudden you get a phone call. Okay. You really plan to do the laundry, but that phone call took up a lot of your time. But to tell you the truth, you could have started the laundry even though you just yakety yakety yak and you didn't realize it. Another hour and a half goes by, and whoops, got to pick up the kids from school or wherever it is, or do a soccer thing or whatever it is, or I better get dinner on the table. And there goes another day when the laundry has not been done, except this time around, well, you got almost 2 loads of wash to do. But you know what? 2 loads of wash to do is not the end of the world. So you absolutely schedule it because you're dog tired that second night around, and you promise upside down that you're going to get it done the next day. Then you get up the next day because you haven't checked your scheduling planner, but you actually have a couple of, you can't really switch appointments, let's say to a doctor or something of that nature. And you absolutely have to get there. But you know what? When I get back, I am going to do 2 loads of laundry. All right, everybody. You see where I'm going with this. Today, we're going to talk about the downside to putting things off. Could it suddenly catch up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on my channel, the Save Money More Jan channel. How you doing today? Hope everybody's doing well on this brand new day. What's ahead of your schedule today? You got to do a wash, or am I reminding you? Listen, I use the laundry sort of kind of as a low level idea of what happens when we procrastinate. We procrastinate long enough, we're going to have, like, let's say, what could have been a tiny mountain of clothes, 1 load of wash, right? That suddenly turns into Mount Rushmore height of clothing in a few days, especially if you got kids, right? You see where I'm going with this? And if you have to do the wash outside and go to a public laundromat, how much more extra time does that take? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And not everybody has the funds to make a phone call for your local laundry service to pick up your clothes and make the whole thing go away. They wash them, they dry them, they fold them for you, and they even bring it back for you. Not everyone can afford that. Am I right? Or am I right? See, this is the downside to putting things off. And it's on a low level priority, but actually laundry is actually a very important priority. But it's not like certain things like taking a medical exam or whatever. A lot of people put off those things. They could be unpleasant. And then you got the anxiety of wondering, well, how did I do? So we tend to put things off. Now let's dial it back completely. Not the laundry, not medical testing, but talking about our budgets. Oh no, the budget chat. Yeah, 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 the budget chat. A budget is your own personal financial roadmap. It shows you where you're going, where you could be, and where you came from if you're looking at last month's budget. I like to do that. How many of you out there review things? Review things. Gee, did I have a great month the month before? Did I keep continuously living below my means? That's my goal. Did I get to save whatever? That's part of my goal, not all of my goal. Did I get to enjoy my life? It's not just about the numbers. I know we get caught up with numbers. And I have to say, in our society today, we are all becoming numb to numbers. We hear lots and lots of stories about millionaires and billionaires. And then when we dial it back to, well, the average person who is not necessarily a billionaire or not even a millionaire, and they're struggling to even be a few thousandaire. Tell me I'm telling the truth. Now, by the time you get to listen to this, okay, it is my complete and utmost hope that the what do you call it, the shutdown is done. I hope it is history by the time you're hearing this, because I am recording this the previous Wednesday, of which the shutdown I think is now entering its what, 8th day, something to that effect. Today is October 8th as I'm recording this. You will not get to hear this till October 15th. And hopefully somewhere in between this nagging ridiculousness is finished with already. People have lives, okay? People depend on their paychecks. Tell me, am I right or am I right? And it might seem interesting and even almost humorous in the very beginning time of a shutdown just to see how far the whole thing goes. Kind of sort of like for some people, entertainment. But this is not entertainment, folks. This is real life, and real life people are absolutely affected by this. Okay. So now, why am I bringing that up? Now, like I said, it is my utmost hope that it is now history, and it's been history for days. Hopefully, let's say this evening in real time in my life, on the evening of, let's say, or afternoon of October 8th, that this is finally resolved, and whatever they want, the extension of time, etc., has occurred, and then they'll hash it out later on. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I know this. Broke is no joke. And for anyone that thinks people that lost their income, losing their jobs, getting laid off, like this is part of like, haha, they got laid off. I mean, come on now. I don't think it's funny. Anybody that finds it humorous that people get laid off seriously have to really rethink about their sense of humor, in my opinion. I mean, like when I used to watch the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I was a little kid. I used to love the opening of the show, and Mr. Van Dyke used to trip on the ottoman on the opening credits of the show. I found that funny. That was humorous. I didn't expect it. Now that was funny to me. But as an adult, watching fellow adults lose their income, tell me, where is that humorous? Give me the good old days of watching people trip on ottomans on opening credits. I'll take that any day. And that's my honest to goodness feeling. But let's get back to reality. Now, I mentioned the laundry. Okay, well, we put this off. This other event came up. How are you doing with savings? You don't have to answer me. I don't like people putting their personal business out. Even if I say, we could talk about it in the comment section, and the comments are able. I personally don't prefer for you folks to put your, specific personal information out there, because we live in a world of, we live in a world. That's all I could say. Okay. And it's unfortunate. It's like totally unfortunate, but only you can answer that to yourself, by yourself. There goes the bird clock, and it is absolutely 6 a.m. Eastern on the Wednesday previous to the time that you're listening. There you go, Birdie. I try to record my shows very early in the morning when I have a little bit of sense and sensibility about me. I listen to current events. Here's what I do. Before I anticipate doing a show, I make little notes, okay? I don't write a script. I have little notes, bullet points that I may or may not, use in my show, but the thoughts and ideas. I'll watch the news of the day in the morning time, and I'll get an assessment as to the climate of what we are going through. I have my personal feelings, then I give a sensory listen to how are people feeling in general in life. Right now, morale is pretty low. Right now, the climate that I'm feeling, that I see, is really low in some aspects. Then you got other people who are like, this is pie in the sky, and everything is like we're all at a big, carnival, and we're all eating cotton candy, and the world is just one big happy fantasy. No. As nice as it sounds, no. That is not my take on it. I fall somewhere in the middle. Maybe that's why, because I am the middle child in my family. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to be the middle child because you actually learn how to become a good negotiator with the oldest child and the youngest child. And half of the time, who knows? Does the middle child make any difference? I think we are good negotiators. But you want to know something? Some things in life are not negotiable. Having a roof over your head, in my opinion, is not negotiable. Okay. I mean, I am not for when people try to push other people to live in a regular car. Now, don't get me wrong. A regular car versus a street, a regular car is going to look mighty glamorous. Okay. But I think everyone deserves a little more than that. Even if it's sharing a room with someone else that you know, splitting the bills, okay? Getting a studio apartment, all right? Doesn't have to be glamorous, doesn't have to be in the, you know, best neighborhood. First of all, it's unaffordable to live in the best neighborhood. It's a crazy thing. It really, really is. You should see what some people do here in New York City to try to get a little bit of space to live in this city. They'll like literally live with four people in a room. Not saying that's a great idea. I'm not. But if that's their way of affording their rent and having a roof, okay, there are ways and there are ways. But we want to avoid all that. I want the best for everybody. I want a regular space for everybody. But if that's what you need to work with in the beginning so you could put some money away, great. But you don't want to stay like that. This is what I mean by the downside to putting things off. If you're listening to this and you happen to still be living with your parents in a basement in your house, in your parents' house, that's your greatest opportunity because the bank of mom and dad will hopefully understand that you need to save your money so you could get out of there and get your own place. I would imagine that most would. This is a guess, no guarantee on my end. I don't know your parents. But if you're in a situation where you can sock some money away, please do so. And if you're not in that situation, make sure you have additional income streams coming in. I don't know how many times I could say this. Sometimes it feels as if I'm talking to deaf ears. That's how it feels. Now, that doesn't mean that's how it is. Okay, sometimes, well, all right, let's start from the beginning. And I know I've gone over this in the past, and this video may run a couple of minutes longer, but you know what? If this is an important point, it's an important point. All right. I sit here every day, really early in the morning. I write my bullet points, I get my show notes together, blah, 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 no script. I watch the news, current news of first thing in the morning news, get a climate feel about what's going on. All right. Now, I talk to this computer. There's nobody else listening. I'm talking to an empty box that happens to be recording and capturing my voice. Okay. And I'm doing it through a platform called StreamYard. Bless your heart, StreamYard. We've had our ups and downs, but I love you because it helps me to get my messages across. Then I make a decision. What platform am I going to send this message on? There are some people that send their messages all over the place, but I am kind of just focused on YouTube. Okay. For me, I like simplicity. I just do. I don't need complications. So I only send it to YouTube. Oh, well. All right. So I send it to the YouTube platform. That's where I get to upload this. Now, mind you, we're still talking about a message that's just a recorded message. No one else other than StreamYard and YouTube has heard my message yet. Then I plan a date for it to air. I have come to learn that I like to record my shows 1 week ahead of time. Heaven forbid something happens to me and I am unavailable or I decide to take a week off, you wouldn't even know the better. Why? Because your show is still going to get to you. I'm the type of person that likes to keep commitments. Call me old fashioned. I guess it's the way I was raised. Thanks, mommy and daddy. Just saying. Look, that's the way I am. 5 o'clock in the morning, you know you're going to get a show. All right. What does this have to do with the downside of putting things off? A lot. Let's suppose it was like, now, don't get me wrong, there's bound to be a day where I'm not feeling great. And you know what? Maybe tomorrow I'll just create two shows instead of just the one show. So, for example, the show you're listening to right this minute, I recorded last Wednesday, October 8th. Okay. But for me, right at this moment, it is real time for me, Wednesday, October 8th. But for you, you don't get to listen to it until October 15th, a week later, right? But I planned it. Okay. So let's say I put it off. I don't feel like recording next week's show. Well, you could get away with that one day. And if I do go on vacation, nobody would know about it. I might still record shows from my other location on vacation. That just doesn't stop me. I want to make sure you have your shows. That's me. Or sometimes I get mentally drained, for example. Yeah, believe it or not, content creators get mentally drained, especially when you are a daily uploader. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, what am I going to talk about next? So I put out at least 365 different ideas every single day, every single year. And I have been doing that for over 7 years. Okay? Not bragging, just explaining, just telling the truth. All right. But if I kept putting off my most wonderful, simplistic routine to turn this little recording that just was just me talking into a box, just me, myself, and I, and this box, and then I make a decision to put it over to YouTube and schedule it a week in advance. If I didn't do that, there would not be a worldwide web message. Oh, yeah, I start off small. I'm in my place in New York City, quiet, quiet, early, early, because I can promise you this, it gets really busy for me later on in the day, and I don't want to have to deal with bells and whistles. That's one of the reasons, if there's any content creator that would like for me to collab with them, I'm not a fan of doing it. What? Did you say that? Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because when I meet other YouTubers, wonderful people, great people, but I am so bound to interruptions. I would hate to be recording a show with you in advance and then it's messed up. Steve and I, we know each other 1,000 years. We're so used to each other's interruptions, it makes no difference. That's the only one. On rare occasion, and I love Money Mom, and we do, as you know, occasional collabs. But I'm always worried in the back of my head, is somebody gonna send me something from you, a package, and the bell rings in the middle of a taping? These are the things I concern myself with. Now, I didn't want to go too much off on a tangent here, but this is my real situation. But look, if I kept putting off writing a show notes, ideas, it would be awful. It's an awfully difficult thing to do 365 different show ideas every single day. If I didn't stay on top of it, it would be just like that laundry that we spoke about way long ago. Oh, about 18 minutes and 34 seconds ago. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your time. Before I go, look at the climate around you. Is it time to stash some cash? Is it? If you haven't done so, please do so. Is it time to check over your current stockpile? Winter's coming, I'm telling you. And there could be days where you are snowed in your home for a number of days. Or you just don't feel well. You might have a cold or a flu. All you have to do is go into your pantry and get something and have something to eat and not worry so much. Think ahead, plan ahead. We never know what it could be like for us if we don't.